Yes, hello, Dana Abercrombie, the Koalition. Thank you so much for speaking with me. This was fantastic. It takes place between a 2 year period. But what I wanted to know with you of balancing both the significance of the Smile Jamaica concert with the Exodus album. Do you feel that one needed, that you had to have one, you couldn't have one without the other?
That's right. It was important to know, what had happened in Jamaica to Bob and his family, because then Bob is essentially in exile when he creates Exodus, and Kaya during that time. So it was important to see what happened in Jamaica and why he had to leave Jamaica. And then, being with him for the Exodus tour, this outpouring of music, musical genius, what was going on through his head, what was motivating those songs, and what was happening in his life at that time. So it was critical in setting that up and setting up that journey, and his inevitable return to Jamaica in 1978 for the One Love Peace concert.
What's really interesting about this is information that we didn't all know about. There's obviously conversations that, we wasn't there for. What I wanted to know is getting inside of the mind of Bob Marley. Can you talk about doing that in order to kind of have the connective threads that he has both the relationship with the album, the music, and his family?
Yeah, so it was important to, try to understand the man that's on all the bags and the buttons and it's just like, who is that man? Who's the man when the interview shuts off? And I know, when I think about the family and Kingsley, we were all interested in trying to dive in beyond the surface. What don't we know about Bob? And for me, the things that seemed to me most revelatory was his relationship with Rita. I didn't know that she had introduced him to Rastafarianism. These were things that were new to me and really interesting. That was probably one of the single most important thing in his life. It's what gave him a spiritual core, a spiritual sense. It all went into the music. It wasn't just a cool hairstyle. It was a way of life. It was how he went about creating music. And so it was important, all these details that came to life. Their relationship, this unusual courtship, but this love story, this unconventional love story, it was revelatory to me. And then just how, I think there's an assumption when you see great musicians that music just falls out of the sky. They're just really talented, right? Like, no, this man's work ethic was second to none. Waking up at 5 a.m., running his band members on the beach. I mean, he was militant. He was militant about it, and maybe he just felt like he didn't have a lot of time, and so he trained like a football player. He trained like a football player, and Ja was the coach. He really went after it. He went after the things that he loved. So yeah, he was talented, but he worked on that talent, and I think that's just like that's what's interesting about it to me.
But I wanted to touch quickly on the spirituality part. You talked about the Rastafarian part. What I wanted to know from you, also as co-writer, finding that gateway into bringing this kind of culture and making it universal so that people who never heard of it before can understand it.
Yeah, I've always found whether it was Tokyo Story or Battle of Algiers, that the more specific you are, the more universal those stories become. And so we leaned into that. A big part of that here was language. We were making a foreign language film with no subtitles, and it was important that we got that right, that we didn't water it down. We didn't slow down the language, but we wanted it to be universal. So we wanted it to make sure that it felt real. If you watch Bob online, you don't understand every word, but you understand him. And that's the way I wanted the film to feel. I wanted to feel like, okay, maybe you don't understand everything, but you get it. You get it cinematically. Were we able to achieve that? And obviously you get it through his music, which he gave to us, this gift. He literally gave us a gift. He carried the burden for so many to give us joy, this message of unity, peace, and love, more timely now than ever.
So by not including the subtitles, I wanted to know, did you want the audience to experience something different as opposed to just the language of being able to follow the words?
Well, I think I wanted them to experience the emotion in the film. And I think to me, it's the film as a whole. If you understand every third word, you understand the film. If you understand every fourth word, you're probably confused. So it was a fine line it was a balancing act, a juggling act, and trying to get it right. And hopefully we did that. We have Bob's music, like I said, as the backbone, the spine of this film.
Right.
for the people that know Bob and for the people that don't know Bob. He'll be introduced to a new generation of kids, which is incredible.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking with me. Wonderful movie.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.